Picture this. An old man walks out of a prison gate. He's been locked away for 27 years. Most of his life. But when he steps into the sunlight, he doesn't raise his fist in anger. He doesn't curse his enemies. He smiles. And 4 years later, he becomes president of the very country that imprisoned him. This is the story of Nelson Mandela. A story about how one man turned suffering into power. Let's go back. South Africa, 1918. A small village called Mvezo. A boy is born into the Xhosa royal family. His name is Nelson Mandela. His father is a chief. The boy is supposed to follow in his footsteps. But when Nelson is just 9 years old, his father dies. He's sent to live with Janjantaba, the regent of his people. Powerful man. A traditional leader. Young Nelson watches. He listens. He learns how leaders speak, how they make decisions, how they carry the weight of their people. But deep inside, a different thought is forming. I don't want to be a chief. I want to be something more. He gives up his royal claim. He chooses to become a lawyer. Johannesburg, 1944. Nelson is now a young man. Tall, sharp, determined. He joins the African National Congress, the ANC, a group fighting for black freedom in a country that treats black people like they don't belong. South Africa is ruled by a system called Apartheid. It's a word that means apartness. But it's more than that. It's a machine designed to crush people based on the color of their skin. Black South Africans can't vote, can't live where they want, can't even walk freely in their own country without carrying a passbook, a document that says where they're allowed to be. Mandela looks around and thinks, this is not freedom. This is a cage. 1952. A small law office in Johannesburg. Mandela and his friend Oliver Tambo open the first black law firm in South Africa. Every day, people walk through their door. People who've been arrested for sitting on the wrong bench, for walking in the wrong neighborhood, for existing. Mandela listens to their stories. His jaw tightens. He doesn't just want to defend them in court. He wants to burn the whole system down. That same year, he helps launch a campaign against the pass laws. He travels across the country, speaking to crowds. We will not carry these passes, he says. We will resist. Peacefully. But we will resist. Thousands join him. The government notices. And they don't like it. 1953. A knock on the door. Police. Mandela is arrested. Not just him, over 100 activists. The charge? Treason. The trial drags on for years. The government wants to intimidate them, break them, make them give up. But they don't. Eventually, they're all acquitted. But Mandela knows something now. They will never let us win this way. The peaceful route is closing. And something darker is coming. March 21, 1960. Sharpeville. A crowd of unarmed black protesters gathers at a police station. They're demonstrating against the pass laws. Peaceful. Calm. Then, without warning, gunfire. 69 people dead. Most of them shot in the back. Women. Children. Blood on the street. Chaos. Screaming. Mandela hears the news. He sits in silence. His hands shake. Not from fear. From rage. He thinks nonviolence is not enough anymore. Everything changes in that moment. He goes underground. The government bans the ANC. So Mandela becomes a ghost. He moves in the shadows. Changes his appearance. Uses fake names. The press starts calling him the Black Pimpernel. A man who can't be caught. He co-founds a new group. Umkhonto we Sizwe. Spear of the Nation. It's the armed wing of the ANC. They don't target people, they target symbols. Power stations. Government buildings. Empty offices at night. Mandela knows this is dangerous. He knows it could cost him everything. But he also knows, sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. He travels to Algeria for military training. Learns guerrilla warfare. Sabotage tactics. Then he returns to South Africa. Ready. August 5, 1962. A roadblock. Natal Province. Mandela is in a car, disguised as a chauffeur. Police stop the vehicle. They look at him. One officer steps closer. Out of the car. Mandela's heart pounds, but his face stays calm. They arrest him. The ghost has been caught. He's sentenced to 5 years in prison. But that's just the beginning. Because while he's locked up, the police raid a hideout in a suburb called Rivonia. They find documents, plans, evidence, and they connect it all to Mandela. October 1963. The Rivonia trial. Mandela stands in court again. This time, the charges are worse. Sabotage, treason, conspiracy. The penalty? Death. The courtroom is packed. Journalists, diplomats, supporters. The world is watching. Mandela is allowed to speak. He stands, looks the judge in the eye, and delivers one of the most powerful speeches in history. He admits some of the charges. He doesn't hide. He doesn't beg. Then he says, I have fought against white domination and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. He pauses. The room is silent. Every ear is listening. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve. But if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. The courtroom holds its breath. The judge doesn't sentence him to death, but he does give him life in prison. Mandela shows no emotion. He's ready. Robben Island, 1964. A small island, 7 miles off the coast of Cape Town. Cold, wet, isolated. Prison built to break men. Mandela is taken to a cell. It's tiny. A mat on the floor. A bucket. A barred window. He will spend the next 18 years here. Every day he wakes before dawn. He breaks rocks in a limestone quarry under the burning sun. The glare is blinding. It damages his eyes permanently. His hands bleed. His back aches. The guards try to humiliate him, treat him like nothing, but his mind stays sharp. At night he reads. He studies. He teaches other prisoners. They call the prison Mandela University, because even behind bars he refuses to stop fighting. He smuggles out letters, keeps in touch with the movement, inspires people he's never met. His name becomes a symbol, not just in South Africa, but around the world. Years pass. 1976. The government makes him an offer. Recognize the Transkei homeland. Live there, and we'll release you. Mandela refuses. He won't legitimize their fake system. 1985. Another offer. Renounce violence and we'll let you go. His daughter reads his response to a massive crowd. What freedom am I being offered while the organization of the people remains banned? Only free men can negotiate. Prisoners cannot enter into contracts. The crowd erupts. He stays in prison. But the pressure on the government is growing. Protests, boycotts, international sanctions. The world is turning against apartheid. South Africa is becoming isolated. And the leaders know they can't hold on forever. February 11, 1990. After 27 years, the gate opens. Mandela walks out. Older, grayer, but not broken. Cameras flash. Crowds scream his name. He raises his fist. Not in anger, in triumph. He walks hand in hand with his wife, Winnie. Thousands line the streets. They've been waiting for this moment their whole lives. Mandela steps up to a microphone. His voice is calm, strong. I stand here before you not as a prophet but as a humble servant of you, the people. He thanks those who fought, those who suffered, those who never gave up. And then he says something unexpected. He calls for peace, for negotiation, for reconciliation. Some people are confused. After all this, he still wants to talk? Yes, because Mandela understands something most people don't. Revenge won't build a country. Only forgiveness can. He sits down with President F.W. de Klerk, the man who represents the system that imprisoned him. They talk. They argue. They negotiate. Takes years. But slowly, the walls of apartheid begin to crack. Laws are repealed. Bans are lifted. The ANC is legal again. And in 1993, Mandela and de Klerk are awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Together, it shocks the world. But Mandela knows this is the only way forward. April 1994. For the first time in South Africa's history, black people can vote. Millions line up. Some wait for hours in the heat. Old women who never thought they'd see this day. Young men voting for the first time. Families standing together. Some cry. Some pray. They cast their ballots. And they choose Mandela. On May 10, 1994, he is sworn in as South Africa's first black president. He stands on the steps of the Union Buildings in Pretoria, the same buildings that once symbolized oppression. Now they symbolize hope. He raises his hand and takes the oath. Then he speaks to the nation. Never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. Fighter jets fly overhead. The old South African flag comes down. A new one rises. People weep openly. Because they know this is not just a new government. This is a new beginning. Mandela could have sought revenge. He could have punished those who imprisoned him, tortured him, stole decades of his life. But instead, he chose reconciliation. He created the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, a place where victims and perpetrators could face each other, where the truth could be told, not hidden, not buried, told, where people could confess what they did, and where sometimes they could be forgiven. It wasn't perfect. It was painful, but it was necessary, because Mandela understood that a nation built on hatred would always collapse. Only a nation built on truth could stand. He served one term as president. Then he stepped down, voluntarily. In a continent where leaders often cling to power until death, Mandela walked away. He spent his final years advocating for peace, for education, for the fight against HIV and AIDS. He traveled the world, met with presidents and children. He smiled often, laughed loudly, danced at his 90th birthday. And when people asked him how he survived prison without bitterness, he said something simple. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. He let it go, not because it was easy, but because it was the only way to be free. December 5, 2013. Mandela dies at the age of 95. The world mourns. Flags fly at half-mast. Leaders fly to South Africa. Millions gather to say goodbye. But his legacy doesn't die, because Mandela proved something powerful. That hate can be defeated not with more hate, but with courage. That prisons can't chain the human spirit. And that one person, no matter how long they suffer, can change the world. He once said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." And he was right, because the impossible, he did it. He walked out of a cell and into history. He turned his pain into power, his anger into action, and his prison into a platform that shook the world. That's the story of Nelson Mandela. Not just a president, not just a freedom fighter, but a man who showed us that even in the darkest places, hope can survive. And when it does, it can light up the world.